From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on NintenDomain, Hell is Ice Climbers. Plus, Switch is the best fighting game machine out there.
More like Elden Sprain, Shadow of the Turd Pea.
Pinball Quest is back.
Made it happen in our expansion
we spoke
pack
it into existence.
Yeah, somebody who listened to our expansion pack told somebody to re-release it or something like that. Somehow that happened.
Their uncle probably works there.
Yeah, something like that. Welcome to NintenDomain Podcast, episode 400 and XX. 431. It's episode 431. Your place to hear Nintendo fans talk about NES games coming back and fighting games and championships or whatever. And we are your hosts. I'm Trey, Mr. Karate Johnson.
I'm Jeremy New Deck Mikowski.
I'm John, Average Gamer Knitter.
You're a better average gamer than I am. I
don't think you're average.
If you're an average gamer, then I'm like low of the low gamer because as we should start it off with it here, of course, but start off the show as we normally do and talk about games we got and games that we've been playing. Yeah, I figured we'd start it off with Nintendo World Championships NES Remix, or NES Edition. I keep calling it Remix in my mind. I don't know why, but because it's similar, I guess. But yeah, John and I, you beat it first, and I beat it a couple days ago as well. We both got it all the way through, and it's been. I guess they're going to add the. They're going to show like your results at the beginning of every week. So they posted the first results of like how you like scored against however many other people are playing. It's kind of cool because it does it's like, all right, here's the number that you are out of all the gamers, and here's the number that you are like out of all the people your age. So they kind of just
makes it more fair.
Show you like everyone born in the year that you were born and how you compete with them and all that. And it was all pretty. I was like in the lower 90s for most of it. I think I was in like the lower 99% of Mario 2 because I hate that challenge so much. The one where you have to the wiggly leg Luigi with the like carpet and the key.
Yeah, Mario USA. Yep.
I just could not do that challenge.
Yeah, I remembered I was struggling with it. So it was the part of I think it's the second level where you have to get on the carpet and fly over the gap, and then you have to get the key and then go in the door.
Yeah.
But I struggled with it, and then I remembered that you can skip the carpet entirely, and that's how you get an S rank on that bit.
Oh, really?
You can. You can just jump on to the little flying fork dudes.
Oh.
You can, if you bounce on one and then you bounce on a second one, off the second one, you can make it all the way across the gap to the land. And so that's how you do that. And so that's how I improved my time on that. But yeah, that was a struggle at first.
I did see that you got an S rank, not because the game shows you that, because the game will not do that, but because I saw it from pictures that you took of how you did, like against the world and all that. That's the only way I would. Yeah. What a total letdown. I mean, like last week, I had convinced myself that it was actual online play, but it wasn't. After me saying that it wasn't, but no. I mean, obviously you were right with that you're playing against ghosts that already happened, so you're not actually. There's no online in this game whatsoever. It doesn't even. I was telling Jess, it's like it doesn't even show you your profile or like your friends list even. Like, it doesn't even do any of that. Like, there's no online component to it whatsoever other than, like, sort of a leaderboard, which is kind of a disappointment.
Which, as far as the ghost data and stuff, I can see why they went that route. And I'm not disappointed by that. I'm more disappointed by the lack of being able to check in and see how your friends are doing, or, like, challenge your friends and that kind of thing. That would be really cool. And I think that's been a common complaint of mine across a lot of Nintendo games. Is just, like, give us better modern social features where we can challenge our friends and like, make playlists of different challenges. And hey, what if we could do like horse or something like that? Like we've got 150 challenges on here, right? What if I could set my 5 favorite challenges, challenge Trey to be like, hey, can you beat these 5 challenges that I beat, and like play a game of horse or something like that. So things like that I think would be. I think there's simple concepts, and I think Nintendo could implement stuff like that. But for whatever reason, it's just they go the bare bones minimum a lot of times on their great classic games, and it's so frustrating because any other company, Microsoft, Sony, if they had this stable of classic IP, I think that they would treat it a little bit better and with a little bit more dignity and a little bit more of a the modern flourishes that we've come to expect. But we love Nintendo, and they've got this great IP, these great old games. It's just we wish sometimes that they could just implement a little bit more modern features. It would be nice.
It's really weird because this is a game that's based around like getting times and stuff like that. But there's no way for you to compete with your friends. That seems like such a major missed opportunity. And it's not even, not even saying like this is Nintendo's fault or whatever, because like F-Zero 99, which is a free game through Nintendo Switch Online, you can check your friends' times all over the place on that game. It's a racing game, so obviously it's also based on time, but the whole idea of this game is doing things at a certain amount of time. So why not let you see your friend, what your friends are doing and all that? That doesn't make any sense. Like you could do that on, what was it, like the Need for Speed game that's on there that's like, 12 years old or something? Like, you could do it on that game, even, it's like, what the hell, man? It seems a really weird thing to not be in there.
There should be some, like system-based infrastructure for that. They wouldn't have to constantly redo it for every single game like this, but there's a lot of games like this, like simple rehashes of older games. You'd think that there would be some thing they could just like plug into. They'd make on their operating system or whatever. Like if you look at the leaderboards for Super Mario Maker 2, look at the leaderboards for Nintendo World Championships, and it's all like right here on the home screen or something like that. That would be a better idea. Hopefully that's something like that is coming for Switch too, so we don't have to like keep guessing, is this game going to get the modern features or is that game going to get the modern features?
Put it on the app. Put it on the Nintendo Switch Online app, right? Give you a reason to turn it on, aside from just seeing which of your friends are playing. That's really all I do with it, to see what people are playing or if they're on or whatever. But I felt like I was thinking about it because on our we have this like weekly game thing where we play wrestling games and all that, but we try to play other stuff like with Joe and Shake and Logan and all them. And I did say like, oh yeah, we should get Nintendo World Championships and we can play that. And that's just me like just thinking that you'd be able to play it online. And I'm glad that nobody got it, because it would have felt really bad because you can't play online with anybody, and there is Jess and I, we did fuck around with the local multiplayer stuff. We did mess around with that a little bit, but that's all that. It's only local. You can't do any of that online. Like, it's really weird. Like, why not? It's in so many other games. Like, why not this one? Why not? Why can't you call your friend up? And there's already
so strange
in the party mode. There's already stuff set. Where they have little challenges where there's 5 or 6 games put together, and they're all categorized by difficulty and all that, and it's kind of cool. It's here's all the different, because there's all these mushroom based challenges. It's you can do all those as one. It's get the mushroom the quickest on all the different Mario games. There's that, or it's let's do all the Mario based legendary challenges. They have a bunch of them all set up. Why can't you just connect
something
online and do it? It's
stranger
really
still is that you can do that with the NSO, and you can play any NSO game, 2-player, 4-player.
Yeah, right.
Hook up together and play it. Why didn't they just implement that exact same system?
Yeah, you can
for Nintendo World Championships.
You can play Ice Climbers if you want to torture your friend online. You could do that. You could totally do that, but I don't know why you would. But it's just it just kind of boggles my mind. I'm there's no online component to this game whatsoever, aside from sort of leaderboards that you don't even see until a week later. It's come on, guys. But yeah, no, the ghost thing, yeah, it does make a little bit more. It's much quicker that way, I guess, because you're going against stuff that's already happened.
These tiny challenges.
But it's also kind of like
to have to wait.
I guess
to get in sync for like a 30-second challenge.
Yeah, it makes it quicker. But people would still be on there. It still said there was like 20,000 people playing or something like that. But yeah,
I think if I could just isolate, like, instead of looking at everybody, if I could just look at my friends who are playing this game and their ghost data, I think that would honestly alleviate all that kind of concern for me. But you can't do that.
But we both made it through. We made it all the way through to the credits. We've completed all of the challenges, all the 150 challenges on there. I mean, how much play time do you think you're going to get out of it now, John? Like now that you made it through, now that you made it through everything,
no?
Huh? Well, I mean,
has it been 10 days yet?
I mean, I can't. I could tell you how often you had played it if you weren't so secretive on your profile, but
No.
Or you could just open it up to best friends and we could see it. But yeah,
I think I did. Take a look.
Oh no, you're still private. I still can't see it.
Oh, okay.
So you just won't know. No, I did play it. I played it for a good amount of time. I don't think it says it for mine yet. Probably not. Yeah, it's only been out for a week because it came out last Thursday. So, but I mean, what I was asking was, like, now that we've beaten it, like, how much do you think you'll go back to it? Like, how much time you'll
going back?
You'll spend on it, like, after this? Because I'll pop into, especially since you have it as like a physical cart, and you got Tears of the Kingdom as a physical cart too, and that was a game that you were playing pretty
Right.
often before, and you probably want to go back to that. So it's like that's another way that it would, like, stay out of the cart and stay out of the system, and with having to, like, get up and change it and all that. Like after like my final challenge was the fucking Ice Climber one, which was I hate that game so much. But after that, I was like, I need a break from this game, so I haven't played it since I got credits. But
let's take a moment to bitch about the jumping and Ice Climbers. It's just
God.
horrible.
Oh my God,
it's the worst.
So, like, well, I said this last. I said this last week. I mean, I hate Ice Climbers. I think that Mario Brothers, the original one, is as guilty as this for just having this really, really bad, slidey, awful jumping. I mean, you could say Donkey Kong kind of, but I think it's more bearable. Even though Donkey Kong has some really stupid stuff too, where you fall like 2 centimeters and die. Like, really, it's like what?
Yeah.
Where you fall like no, and this like very small amount of space, and you die from it. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? But no, Ice Climbers. I don't like this game. Nintendo, just like, can we just like put Ice Climbers out to pasture already? Can we just forget about that game and just stop putting it in collections and stop putting it in systems? Like, it's a bad game. It's not fun. Like, let's just get rid of it. Like, I've had
just have
I've
them
had
like
enough
get
of it.
buried in an avalanche.
Yeah.
No.
Unless you're gonna
Smash is the only reason that it's
future human races can discover them.
Unless you're gonna make like a
nice.
new one or something and make it not suck. But I mean, this NES one, just get rid of it already. Like, I'm so tired of it. Especially
so it's the combination of the poor jumping. First of all, there's two kinds of jumps. One, if you're standing still, you pretty much jump like in a almost straight up little arc. You'll go a little bit forward, and then if you're moving, you'll jump forward, but you'll have no control over the jump, mid jump. Like, once you've jumped, that's it. You've committed to the direction, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. But then there's also the fact that you'll go through the edge. Like, if you land too close to the edge, you'll just go straight through it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like almost your entire character's width onto the ledge. Like, you can, like, your character is practically covering up the edge as it's going past, and it's like, there's no doubt I definitely landed that jump, but for whatever reason you have to be 100% over onto the edge, or else you're not going to make it, and you'll just pass straight through.
Oh yeah.
And you do that constantly. So it's a combination of the which jump am I doing? Am I doing the forward momentum jump, the straight up jump? Am I too close to the ledge? Am I going to land on the ledge? And it just gives off a sense of, I don't really have any control over this game, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, and actually, what was kind of the worst thing for me for that final challenge is also there's a fucking timer. Like there's a timer that's going once you get to the bonus area, and if the timer gets to 0, you start all the way at the beginning
all the
again.
way down.
So there's no reason for you to keep playing like that. So you automatically start over again. So it's like, and there were so many times I got to the fucking top finally, and ran out of seconds before I catch the dumb bird thing, and then you got to then you got to start all over again. So it's like, all right, well, I'll just
dumb bird.
Yeah.
You have to catch the dumb bird just right. You can pass straight through the bird, but if you don't hit at that magical spot, whatever it is that the game wants you to, then you're screwed. You start over.
I guess I get kind of lucky because when I finally did get through it, I ended up getting like an A+ for it. Probably because I don't, if I run out of time, I'm starting over again. Like I'm not doing the whole thing again. And I guess if you get there within the time limit, you'll be in like the A range. Obviously, I would figure, but yeah, it was just it was like the final challenge, and I was kind of putting it off because I, how much I hate that game, and I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna it was like Monday night after we did our AEW stream, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking sit here and play through this stupid game and do this fucking ice climber thing, and it took me multiple times, and I'm just like, yeah, it's just not fun, and it's annoying, and when you beat everything, it gives you like this kind of boss rush thing where you can like go through all of the legendary challenges. And I would do that if you didn't have to go through the Ice Climbers one in the middle there. Like if I could, like I would do it, but I don't want to relive that fucking Ice Climbers one. And that the Kid Icarus one's kind of hard too if you don't have the map memorized.
The map. Yeah.
So
that's the one. I actually did the whole challenge. It took me about, I think it was 55 minutes total.
Oh, you did do it? You did do the boss rush thing?
I did the boss rush thing. And I didn't do very well. It was 55 minutes, way too long. But the longest one was the Kid Icarus one because I just didn't have the map memorized. I spent like 11 minutes on that.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of scared of. It's like, well, I can kind of plow through any of all the other ones except for those two, And
I did it with the intent of just trying to do it. I knew I wasn't gonna do good, and I knew I was gonna take a long time. I just wanted to try it once, so I checked it off.
You're brave.
I'll go back.
You're braver than I am.
I'll go back. I'm a little motivated to go back and try to trim down my time on that one. There's reasons to go back to this game. I think I'll keep going back every so often.
There's like those little achievements in there, like the pins. Like you.
Yeah.
I could see you going back and getting the pins, but also there's not a whole lot of them that I don't have. I got most of them because you get a pin for getting an A on everything. And I was kind of like, I did kind of go through a lot of them and try to get A's on all of them. So I have A's on most of them, so I don't know. Like there's a few.
Then there's the pins you can buy too. There's the other ones that you can purchase with your.
Oh yeah, I guess. I never really looked at that. Yeah, because you can buy different, the different like 8-bit icons for yourself and stuff like that. Once I was trying to unlock the games, I stopped doing that obviously, but. Now that they're unlocked, I guess, but it's like as of right now, like I played the new like weekly stuff, and I don't really see myself going back to it until next week. Actually, we were just gonna after Jess and I, we did have a pretty fun time, just kind of fucking around with the local multi stuff, and we thought about trying to see if we could get Caroline and Robert to play it because we were gonna go to their house over the weekend, so.
I think it's definitely
we'd run that by them, and you can do 8 players at once, like in the room, so that's pretty cool.
That's cool. If you're bringing your Switch somewhere and you're with other people around our age, and you want to like give them a nostalgia burst, I think this is going to be like a big hit party game for that crowd.
Yeah, it pretty much works. I mean, I don't know how much they care about like the NES games, like. Like if because they just play Mario Kart 8 all the time. Like that's really their extent of video gameness, it seems like. But I mean, I don't know. And we play like Jackbox, but Jackbox is a pretty universal game. I think anybody can really get into that.
Right.
So, but it's we thought we'd try it out and see if they'd be into it. But yeah, if you have that, if you played the NES games or you have like that NES nostalgia, then it works. For it well. And we'll have fun playing it whenever we get to see each other. Next week and all that, we'll play it for sure. It's just kind of, as far as single player, I think I'm kind of done with it now. I'm like I had my fun and I'm good. Actually, was like
I feel like you got your money's worth.
Yeah. No, I don't feel like I mean, it's like I didn't pay. I mean, you got the extra stuff and all that, and that's it's worth it, But But yeah, no, I only paid like $30 for it, and I don't really feel like I had fun with it. I had fun with it until I was done with it, and I played it all the way through, and I was planning on playing it all the way through, and it was kind of a budget title, like less than if it was like $50 or $60, then maybe I'd be a little bit more mad about it. But no, I mean, I think it was fine entry, and I had a good time with it. I'm ready to play something else that's a little more complicated, I guess. It made me want to play like a first person, or just some like single player stuff that has like more story or complexity to it or whatever.
One more thing on Ice Climbers, which I realized this week. I think Ice Climbers is probably the most re-released or revisited or known Nintendo game that has 0 sequels. It's got no sequels, and 20 years on from when it was sort of revitalized by Smash Melee, you would think that it would get at least one sort of revisit. But I have to say that probably speaks to the poor quality of the original game. I think honestly, like Ice Climbers was given a lifeline by Smash Melee when they were just looking for
weird,
interesting,
weird extra characters. Yeah,
extra characters to pull back into the forefront. And that's the only reason why it has relevance today. When it has any relevance today, I think is Smash. But that said, I think like if they wanted to revisit, I think it could actually make a good, interesting game in the modern day, like with the old 2-player thing. Basically, I think like Unraveled or what was the other one from EA that got
Fred and Bread or whatever it was, the game that I bought and played like 2 seconds of.
Like any of the co-op 2-player games,
Fred,
it takes 2. Like if Nintendo did It Takes Two, but it's Ice Climbers, that could be kind of cool. I think there's something there. But yeah, as of right now, the original game kind of sucks, and that's why we haven't revisited it or made a sequel.
It was Bread and Fred. That's the game that 100% is an Ice Climbers type game. But it's the reason I haven't played it that much is that it's pretty much designed to be a 2-player game, and I tried playing it single player and I couldn't figure out how to do it because I don't have the 2 people at once. So I couldn't figure out how to do it by yourself. But yeah, and I was gonna say also don't forget, like, Ice Climbers made plenty of appearances in WarioWare games. Like that was the first time that I saw, like, well, I guess that was after Melee, but I mean these challenges that are in here for Ice Climbers are also in WarioWare, the Game Boy Advance game. Like they're the one where you jump and grab the bird, except it's only that. You don't have to jump all the way up there. You just got to jump and get the bird, and that's that. Like I was saying last week, same with like the balloons fight stuff. It was very familiar to me because all of these challenges are in WarioWare and Game Boy Advance. The exact same thing that you do is in that, except you only have like 3 seconds to do it, and if you don't figure it out, then you lose life and you go to the next thing.
On the flip side of Ice Climbers, I think Balloon Fight is a black box game that's actually still really fun, and I think this game reiterates that for me. I've had probably the most fun with the Balloon Fight challenges.
Yeah, Balloon Fight's good. I was just saying that
It's a Joust clone.
Sure, but I liked it. I've played all those challenges on WarioWare, so it felt very familiar, or a little redundant. I was like, oh yeah, this one, the one where they're blowing up. I guess the game only has like 3 levels, so like you'll see these same 3 levels in everything that references Balloon Fight. That's another game that got no sequel, but I think that would be a fun. If they did some sort of fun deathmatch Balloon Fight 3D thing, would be cool. I think if they did that,
someone should make it into a movie.
Yeah, I mean we already.
I've got a script ready to go if anybody wants to do it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess the best I did in the in the whatever the competitive stuff is I got in the top 40% on the Metroid challenge. So, hooray! That was the only thing that was kind of cool. But everything else was like low tier for me.
I think my top was that Mario 2, Mario USA.
Yeah, I wish I knew that I could jump over. I'm really not good at that at all. Like we were doing, Jess and I were playing the one where you throw the bombs at the mouse or whatever, and I just got so tired of playing it that I just gave up because they had beaten me like a long time, and I'm just like, I'm done with this, and you can just hit L and R and then you can quit. Thankfully, if you just don't want to do it anymore, because I always throw it and the guy always moves past and it never hits him and whatever.
You got to hold it for a little bit. That's the key. You got to hold it until it's about to explode.
Yeah. I mean, it blew up in my face
Yep.
plenty of times. Trust me, I'm very familiar with that thing.
The one that I did the worst on, and I'm ashamed to admit this, was the Zelda challenge, where you try to
The
shoot
Octoroks?
the Octoroks with the sword. Yep.
Yeah, there's
I
like
did terrible on that for some reason.
Yeah, the control on Zelda one's kind of weird too. Like
So?
he doesn't go exactly where you think he's going to go. I think if you haven't played the game a billion times, which I haven't, it's the movement of Link feels weird to me. Like it kind of feels really off. Like where I think I'm going to stop and then I keep going. Maybe it's like a lag thing too, but it feels really strange. It doesn't.
I don't think
it doesn't
you
feel
can
right.
move diagonally in.
No,
You
you can't at all. I mean, that
You can throw your boomerang diagonally, I think.
probably so.
Wait, no, you can't.
But yeah, it felt weird. The control for that felt a little off and goofy. But I haven't really played the NES one. I actually had a lot more fun with Zelda 2 than I thought that I would. Actually, I had a pretty good time with those challenges because I don't know anything about that game at all. And they weren't really that annoyingly. I think maybe the worst one was the guy on the horse where you got to like down stab him off the horse. Like I figured that one was probably the hardest one for me to get through.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. The he's riding the horse for the first part, and then eventually gets off the horse. Yeah.
Well, you gotta down stab. You gotta down stab him off the horse. You put a video on Slack of you doing it. You have to like attack him,
Yep.
And then he'll get off the horse. And then it's this whole thing where the shield up and down like the regular kind of fighting mechanic that happens a lot in that game. But I did have a lot more fun with Zelda 2 than I thought I would. And even that final challenge where you play like the first dungeon, I don't think it's that bad. It's
pretty fun.
It's pretty doable. I mean, you kind of got to know where to go, but I don't think it's that confusing, like the map and like where you go and all that. So, yeah.
And then you get the Nintendo Power page that helps you out and all that, and shows the way through.
Yeah,
I love that still, by the way.
Yeah, the classified information, which is directly from the.
I wonder why they couldn't
Also,
call it
that
Nintendo
music
Power.
slaps.
Oh yeah, the music's great. Yep.
Yeah, the music's good too.
Yep.
Well, I knew it from the we all knew it. Well, some people knew it from the NES game, but first time I heard it was from Smash Brothers Melee on GameCube. Because they had it on there, and I'm sure Jeremy was like, "Oh, that's from Zelda 2," and I was like, "Oh, well, this song's really good."
Correct.
So I guess they had a great soundtrack on Zelda 2 because I barely played it at all. I remember watching friends of mine getting the down stab move, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." I'm gonna go play Terminator 2 now.
I was curious why in the Nintendo Power-esque tips and all that stuff, why they didn't actually just go with it and call it Nintendo Power, like put some actual branding in there. That would have been cool. They alluded to it. They're obviously making it look like Nintendo Power, but I wonder what the reasoning is behind that. I know that
Isn't Nintendo Power a podcast now?
It is. Yeah.
It is a podcast.
The Nintendo Power podcast, but it's still like I think it's still from Nintendo though. I don't know. I kind of like it better, like the whole like if you know sort of thing, and it doesn't have to necessarily say like Nintendo Power, like what it is if you read Nintendo Power. I think I kind of like the subtlety of it, where it's just not necessarily in your face. It's just like there it is, because it didn't say Nintendo Power on every page in the magazine. It would have just said classified information. But yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to say about Nintendo World Championships now that we've both beat it?
Not for right now. I mean, overall, I think it's still worth it. It's still a lot of fun. I'll keep going back to it. I think it's it has room for improvement, and I think they will make improvements. But as it is right now, I think it's worth it to just go ahead and get it and have fun with it.
We'll play the local multiplayer. I'll probably check in next week to see whatever the new challenge is. But aside from that, I'm good. I'm good on it for now. But the other game that I got, which is it was in the opening of the show, I guess, that I wanted to talk about, is SNK versus Capcom SVC Chaos. Was announced at Evo. I did watch some Evo stuff over the weekend. It was better than watching the Republican National Convention, which I wouldn't watch that. But it was on. I was at a hotel, so it was on like every fucking TV. But I had some time. We were driving around.
It's RNC Chaos.
Yeah, it was. There was plenty of RNC Chaos. But we were driving around doing B-roll, and I was just kind of just sitting in the back. We had to drive for like 40 minutes to shoot whatever we were doing, and I just watched some Evo stuff on there, and I watched some of the Third Strike stuff, and it was pretty cool. Some Third Strike stuff, and I watched like Street Fighter 6, like the M. Bison is in there now, or Dictator as he's called. So I watched some of that stuff. But yeah, SNK versus Capcom is out now for Switch, which I was a little disappointed because of course I wanted Capcom versus SNK 2. I mean, we all do because that one's like the best one. But I've never played this one before, so it was kind of cool to just to play like a Street Fighter game that I've never played before. And this is, since it's SNK versus Capcom instead of Capcom versus SNK, this is more an SNK game than a Capcom game, if that makes sense. So
I was going to ask about that because wasn't there some other thing where it was a versus a Capcom, and where wasn't it like Tekken versus, but then they each had their own and they switched it?
Yeah, they had like the Tekken, what was it, the Tekken versus Street Fighter, or Tekken versus Capcom, or whatever it was.
The Street Fighter versus Tekken. Yeah.
Yeah. I never played.
So
I never played those games, but I always kind of wanted to. But I mean, that's kind of how this is. I mean, this is the third. This is the third version of it. There was a Capcom versus SNK, which I never played. I think that was on Dreamcast, the first one even. But I played a shit ton of Capcom versus SNK 2 on GameCube because, at that time, when the 64 came around, Nintendo had pretty much lost all of their most of their fighting games stuff, because of the PlayStation and all that. So I was kind of hurting for fighting games. And we had like Fighter's Destiny, which was good. That game was good, but it was more an independent game, outside of but we had Mortal Kombat 4, I guess, and Mortal Kombat Trilogy on there. But Street Fighter, the main one, had pretty much left Nintendo. So there was no Street Fighter presence for a long time. And when Capcom vs. SNK 2 came around, I was like, oh, yes, finally, I can play as fucking Ryu on a Nintendo system again, finally, And that was a big deal for me. And it was a GameCube exclusive, a timed exclusive when it came out, so that was pretty rad. And I played it, many times at multiple parties or shoots or whatever. So that game was great. But SNK versus Capcom is more SNK, where like the animation and the art style and all that looks like more like an SNK game than a Capcom game. That's kind of, if you played like King of Fighters and like Fatal Fury and Mark of the Wolves and all that, you kind of can tell the art style of it looks like more like that than like the later Capcom stuff. But I've kind of heard like not great things about it also, because it is kind of a broken game. Like it's totally broken in some ways. Like I ran into there's some weird like hit detection stuff. Like when I was playing as Dalsim and you do like the long arm stretch under the guys, like it won't hit most people. Like it'll just go through them and they won't get hit. And I guess they didn't fix any of that. So and a lot of the characters are like super unbalanced, that sort of thing. So it's broken, but it's still fun to play. There's only like, you have limited continues as far as I can tell. You can only continue like 3 times and then you get a game over, which is annoying because I just want to go through the arcade mode, but I can't because I run out of continues. And it's really hard. Even though I'm playing it on easy mode, it's still incredibly hard. And the bosses are really hard. Mr. Karate was it was awful. It was a super, super hard. It's like a mid boss. And I guess he's tied to Dan now, the Dan character from Capcom and all that. And he's basically like a guy he has like this giant nose and he's wearing like a mask, and that's what my middle name was. But Mr. Karate, yeah, he's kind of a pain in the ass to try to get through. But I've been using my fight stick, my no stick fight stick, trying to learn how to play that. And there's some cool, it was really easy to do like Bison's super move with it. Because normally I have a hard time doing that. Because like like Bison and Gil and all those guys that have like the charge forward, the charge back, tap forward ones, you got to go like, like charge back, forward back. It goes like forward, back, forward, and then you hit a button, and it's kind of hard to do on like with an analog stick or with a digital pad. But with with this thing, you can it's just like more precise. You can just be like back, like
all
back, forward, like that, and it feels pretty awesome to do it the first time. And have it not fuck up.
What is that pad again that you got there?
There's different types of this. This is called like the Hot 42 or whatever it's called, the Hot Pro. I just bought it because it was cheaper. This one is actually a smaller one. There's ones that are much bigger than this, but yeah, it's just basically it's a fight stick that doesn't have a fight stick. It's all buttons.
Yeah, buttons.
I've shown it before when I bought it, and I saw that what was it, Nintendo Life or Game Explained did like a little thing about these sticks. And interesting thing, the one that they were showing, they were talking about how the jump is on the bottom, and that's weird. Well, this one actually has the jump in 2 places, which is really cool. That other one doesn't do that. So this has more buttons than most do, and it's got like a turbo thing, and it also has you can click in the left and right stick with these buttons as well. But it's there's so many buttons on it that it's kind of hard to get used to. But I've been trying to just train myself to use it. And it's kind of hard to use it with with a game you've never played before, especially as like something that's kind of as difficult as SNK versus Capcom Chaos. But I've been having fun with the game. I think it looks great. Like there's like dialogues for every character. Like no matter how you play as, there's a little conversation between the characters at the beginning of every match. And all that, and there's a story mode, and it kind of works similar to like Capcom versus SNK, where like if you pick a Capcom guy, you'll play like SNK bosses, or you pick an SNK guy, you'll fight like Capcom bosses, like that sort of thing. They kind of go back and forth. There are some like characters missing, from SNK 2, from CVS 2, of course. Like it's like weird ones like Blanca and Zangief like aren't in there. Yeah, CVS 2, like the place I get my medicine from. Or like Hawamaro, who was from Samurai Showdown. He was one of my favorite guys from CVS 2, and he's not in there. But there's another like sword dude from Showdown in there, which is kind of cool to play with. But he's not. He can't throw tornadoes with his sword like Hawamaro can. Like, come on, that guy's cool as fuck. And there's some like, and the Joe Higashi or whatever, he's not in there either. The boxer dude, I had fun with him and CVS 2. So it's like, what the fuck, guys? But there's there's weird hidden characters like Zero is in there from Mega Man, but you have to unlock him. Like he's not available from the start. And you can play as like the giant monsters from Red Earth, which is on that Capcom Fighting Collection, but they're unlockable too. And you can fight as these various vampires from like the Darkstalker series and all that. So there's some cool like hidden shit in there. And and it's got like a little parry move thing, like Third Strike does, where you can block in a certain way. But I've been having a lot of fun with it. I don't know if you're, like I said, Switch has definitely become like, I mean, to me, it's the best. It's probably the best fighting game system I have. I mean, because it has so many old ones. Yeah, it doesn't have Tekken 8 on there, which I would love to play, but I mean, it's got. And it doesn't have like Street Fighter 6 or 4 through 6, none of those. But as far as like retro fighting games, it's got a shit ton. Like it's got all of those SNK games on there. It's got that Street Fighter collection that has like 12 games in it. Like there's just a lot of shit to play in there. Like lots of really really fun stuff to get into if you're into fighting games. And because I was having so much fun with SNK versus Capcom, I kind of went on a little fighting kick, and I turned on my PlayStation 4 for the first time, I don't know when. Probably since AEW Fight Forever was added to PlayStation Plus. And they had a little Evo. They had an Evo sale on Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, for $7. So I picked that up. So I bought a PlayStation 4 game. But I had Marvel vs. Capcom 3 on PS3, the original, not the Ultimate one. And I think I sold it for another game, but I was planning on getting the new one, and I think it was on PlayStation Plus later, on PS3, whatever. Anyway, I never fully got it, and I'm just kind of fucking around with it, and it's pretty good. I know Infinite was the one that was, everybody said was pretty shitty, and I never played that one, but I figured it would probably fell in the same way that Street Fighter V did, where it was just kind of like, that was kind of broken. Like, they didn't have any options to it or whatever. But it's cool. There's some extra, there are characters on there that I never played as, like Ghost Rider's in there. Like, that's cool. She-Hulk is in there. Like, I love her, so it's fun to play as her. There's some other characters that I played on the other one. I just kind of fucked around with a little bit. But I got the fighting stick thing to work on the PlayStation 4 also. And the cool thing about it is, you hook it up with like a USB cable, and all you do is you hold different buttons depending on what system you want it to work with. So, like, if you want to play it on PlayStation 4 or 5, you hold the Y button when you plug it in, and it'll say on the little screen over here, PlayStation. Like, it'll say that it connected to it. Or, like, if you want to do the Switch, you hold down the B button, and it'll say Switch on this little screen up here. So it'll tell you, like, that it works for it. And it worked pretty good for the most part on the PS4, except for sometimes it would stop working, which is weird because it doesn't do that on the Switch. Like, and it wouldn't do it while I was playing the game, but in between matches, the controller would just stop working, and I would just have to unplug it and plug it back in, and then it would work. So I don't know if it's a weird compatibility thing with PlayStation 4, but that was kind of annoying. But it worked for the most part, except for when I wasn't fighting. Sometimes I would hit A and nothing would happen. And I'd be like, what the fuck? And then I just plug it back in, and then it would work again. So, whatever. But I kind of just fucked around with it. I played Street Fighter 4. I played Street Fighter 6. I kind of just went through some things, just to be like... Because I bought the stick because I want it to work. I want it to be versatile and work on every system that I have or whatever. So yeah, I did that. I tried the Gundam Breaker open network test that I mentioned last week, and I got through the tutorial, and then it told me I couldn't play it anymore. So I guess I missed.
Oh.
I guess I missed the time to try it. Like I went through the tutorial and I was having fun with it, and then I got through it, and it's like, you missed. It said something like you missed the time, or it's not available right now, or options aren't available, or whatever, and then it just kind of like kicked me out of the game, and I was like, okay, well, weird. But I mean,
did you get any sense of the game?
I mean, from playing the tutorial, it kind of feels like Megaton Musashi, the other game that I got, but it's not quite as good, but it's pretty close. Like it kind of has that same like sort of actiony stuff to it, and I would play more of it if I could, but I could only get through the tutorial, so wah. That's what happened with that. And the other thing I got was Exophobia. It's a new first-person shooter, or first-person pixel shooter, as I call them, and it's more like it's more like Wolfenstein. It's like you can't aim, you just turn. You just turn and strafe and all that. And it kind of reminds me of Blake Stone, which is an old first-person shooter that I used to play the crap out of on computer. And just because it's a sci-fi game, you're on like a spaceship and you're fighting aliens, and you start off in a room with a bunch of dead people, and there's like a lot of blood in the game, which is pretty cool. Then you steal like the suit from one person, and then you have your suit, and then you go and get a gun, and there's upgrades and stuff, and you can like. I don't know. I was watching like a little review of it, and they even said it was a little like Dark Soulsy because it's kind of got its own equivalent of like a roll or like a dodge roll or whatever. You can like slide into people and like stun them and then shoot them, like that sort of thing. I don't know if that's similar to, or you could slide away like you would roll away in like Dark Souls or whatever.
Yeah,
but it's pretty hard. I didn't get that far in it, but I've only had it for like a day, and I got it for like $14. It was cheap. So the Chaos game was only 20, so that was cool. And that came out like at 2 a.m. on Monday, which it was weird because it said the announcement at Evo said available now, and then there was another announcement later that was like
just on Steam though.
It was like no, I mean the 22nd. Yeah, it was available now on Steam, but not available on PlayStation and Switch till the 22nd. Which this is another one that has said fuck you to Xbox, which is kind of hilarious because this game was originally an Xbox exclusive. That's why I never played it, as SNK versus Capcom in America was only released on the Xbox 360. So if you didn't have that, you couldn't play it. There was a PlayStation 2 version of it, but it only came out in Japan. So I mean, it's like that time when they released the Resident Evil, the original GameCube Resident Evil on all systems other than Nintendo systems. But then we eventually got it on Switch when Switch came around. But it's kind of fun. I don't know, the fighting community is just like completely just Xing out Xbox on everything. They're just like fuck you, because like was it the Marvel games aren't coming there either? The Marvel collection is skipping Xbox as well. So it's kind of like yeah. It's kind of funny. There's another one that's like, sorry, Xbox, not coming to you.
Feels like Xbox is swirling the drain at this moment.
Definitely. I mean, they've never been popular in Japan. They never have. Like, and they've tried, with Blue Dragon and stuff like that. But the Japanese community has never liked Xbox. So it's like, as of this point, it's like, let's just not put any Japanese games on there. Like this, nobody's gonna fucking touch it. But yeah, that's good for my stuff there.
Didn't you get Shim?
I did, but I barely played it.
Okay.
I played it for like 2 seconds last week, and that's about, yeah. I played it, I had been playing a bunch of Nintendo World Championships, and I played Shim, and I was like, oh my god, this game is way prettier than Nintendo World Championships. And that's about it. And then I stopped playing it, because I had to go to bed or something.
Well, I didn't get anything new this week, but I've been playing a lot of the Elden Ring DLC, of course. And that's why I could play it at the top of the show. I haven't been able to play it for a couple of days because I was playing it and my wrist started to hurt. And I didn't think much of it, but it started to really hurt when I was trying to fight the bosses and stuff when I had to hit the R and L buttons with my right hand. I was like, this sucks. And I have to, most people have to use their hands for their job, I know, but I definitely want to make sure my hands are working for my job. So I decided I just have to stop playing it for a little bit until it doesn't hurt anymore. Makes me kind of sad because I was really making a lot of progress. I looked online for a few things to try it because some of the exploration stuff is kind of convoluted in this game, and some people like that. I didn't like it, so I found ways to get to most of the rest of the map, and yeah, I'm having a good time with it, but it may be a little bit before I play it again, sadly. But yeah, it's fun. Like currently I've beaten every boss that I know of that I can find, so now I have to find some more bosses whenever I go back to it.
So you say you've beaten every boss that you know of. So are you like
that I've
to beating the DLC?
I mean I've beat every boss that, like, because you open up fast travel points, and all the bosses that are near all the fast travel points that I know of, I've beaten. So that's kind of what I mean. There's definitely more places I need to go. I just haven't found them yet. So I've kind of, like I said, I've been looking online, but I haven't been fully spoiling it for myself. I've just kind of been, if I need help getting to a new area, I'll look at that, and then I'll kind of stop looking at it, at the guide once I get there, and then I'll get lost all over again, which is kind of fun. But definitely still would say it's one of the coolest things I've played recently, and definitely one of the best things I've played this year for sure. But other than that, of course, I'm still playing Balatro, and I finally unlocked a new deck that actually just happened a couple days ago, it happened earlier tonight. I unlocked the third to last deck, which is called the Anaglyph deck. And I haven't actually played like a match with it yet, but I've been stuck on this one thing for so long, playing with this one deck that's only got 2 suits, that now I just don't know how I'm going to play it with a regular deck of cards again. So, but I keep playing it.
You can work still though, right? Like it hasn't like messed up your work, obviously, because you were working today, like your hand injury.
Oh, right. No, it's one of those things, like it's starting to hurt and I don't want it to make it worse. So I'm trying to take it easy. Also, I don't want to be in bad shape when I go to Galloping Ghost, because I need my joystick hand to function properly. And my shooting hand.
Is it your left hand?
Right hand.
Is it right hand? Because I had that one thing during the pandemic where my hand like just kind of swole up, and I couldn't I couldn't close my fist, and I don't know what happened with it. I don't know what.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, and I just couldn't play. I just couldn't play anything because I couldn't because it was like my fingers, like these 2 fingers, wouldn't. I couldn't use couldn't use the controller with it.
Could have been a pinched nerve in my experience. I fell asleep at my desk one time, and I fell asleep with the desk on like this part just above my elbow, and from then on, I couldn't use that hand for like 2 weeks. Like the hand was just dead. If I held it up, it would fall limp like that. And it was actually my right hand. But I remember I created a splint for myself because I was on a job and I needed to write stuff that day. I was on set. I needed to take notes. So I created a splint for myself to hold my hand up just so I could hold the pen. And it was this thing that I just fashioned in the moment. Everyone was like, that's kind of weird. Why do you have that? And,
it's like a field medic.
Best I could do. Like a field medic, yep.
And you could write okay like that? Like it was legible? Like you're writing? Like you
well,
your hand was...
I could close my index finger and my thumb together to hold the pen.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, but that's what I had to do.
I suppose you're the only one that needs to read the notes. You can transcribe
it later. Yeah, they were terrible notes. Everyone's they're looking at me taking the notes and they're like, are you sure this is the guy to take the notes? I could read it just fine.
No, and that's what I was saying. Was it readable? Was it just kind of yeah. I don't know. I always wondered because, it was the pandemic and we were getting a lot of groceries and stuff. And I was kind of sometimes I carry groceries with 2 fingers, and maybe I kind of sprained it carrying the grocery bags because we were getting, we were getting so much shit at once, and whatever. That's what maybe I thought it was.
We have to take care of our hands,
Yeah, but I mean, hasn't really, knock on wood or whatever, hasn't really acted up like that. But it really sucked, yeah. So I fully experienced.
My pain's all localized right here.
Yeah,
which is there's some tendon or something there. That's
so. As it happens, I was looking up cold compression stuff today because I hurt my back. I slept on my back, kind of weird. And I got I've got a back brace on right now, with an ice pack, just like your stuff you throw in your lunch bag or whatever, on my back. So I was looking up cold compression stuff today, and you might look up something for hands because I'd seen sleeves and stuff you can put in the freezer, and that can help with that kind of stuff. Apparently, just look it up. It might be worth it. I think it was like $15-$20.
Yeah, they make a lot
What
of
if there's
ice.
like a glove out there?
They make a lot of ice accessories. We even have like
Yeah.
we even have like ice glasses like in our freezer,
Yeah.
like for your face. It's just
Mhm.
it's just glasses, and you just put them on your on your face in case you need.
One
that,
of like what I got one of my wisdom teeth removed or something. It was like really, really. They had given me this ice pack that wraps around my head, almost like it's almost like a fanny pack for your head. That's an ice pack, and I've got that, so maybe I could fashion that in some way. Who knows? I'm just getting older. These joints weren't built to last.
You got to redo your button layout so you don't.
There we go.
So it makes it. But I did that. I remember towards the end of when the hand was hurt, I like kind of redid like because I was trying to play like a first person shooter or something. I made all the shooting on another side so I didn't have to use my trigger finger, and I made it to where it was playable. So you can kind of like move some stuff around. I did the same thing for.
Well, the whole thing is like we're in the age of accessibility, so that's a great thing that I have in case I need it. I could play one-handed with something like Balatro, which I've been doing, and then the Suika game on my iPhone. I can just play that with one finger because you just move it and then lift your finger up to drop it. That's all you got to do.
I mean, if you took your Switch out of the dock, you can play Balatro with the touchscreen also.
Oh,
You
nice.
don't have to play. I actually did that at one of the last, like whenever Balatro came out, I played it because I was doing like I normally do these jobs with really long interviews, and I figured out that you can play touchscreen Balatro, so you just pop the controllers off and then you got the whole game there. And you can play it on your.
That sounds great.
On your Switch screen with one hand.
Maybe I should try that.
So yeah.
When I play it on the Switch, I'm back to unlocking stuff all over again because I'm way ahead on the other version. But I guess the last thing I talked about ordering the shirt a couple months ago, whatever. I don't know when exactly it was, but it was like it just showed up on my Twitter feed, probably from Wario64, and it said it was a limited edition print. I think it was from Fangamer, or maybe not Fangamer, but something like that. And so I ordered it, and it came in the mail. I like it.
I have to describe it. It's a Rosalina shirt. It's a blue Rosalina shirt with little sparkly stars next to it.
That's nice. Yeah, and she's in portrait view.
Kind of like stained glass mode.
Stained glass and Super Mario 64.
Yeah. Very. It looks reminiscent of the stained glass stuff from.
The
Mario
peach shirt
64.
is the peach shirt, which is pink. Obviously, I think peach is like facing the opposite direction, and I thought about getting that one, but I like the Rosalina one better. I think she's just cooler anyway.
Yeah, she's like queen of the universe, and can't get cooler.
She's got all them star people that are cooler than the Toads.
That she does.
I mean, that was the funniest character in the Mario movie.
The angry star.
The one that was like trapped in the cage.
Oh yeah,
just kept making really morbid jokes or whatever.
Yeah, I always felt like he just felt like so out of place, like not necessarily funny, just very random. And we talked about this on our review of the Mario movie, but he reminded me of
He's like Gur from Invader Zim.
Yeah, or even before that, reminds me of the tongue of Thrakkerzog from The Tick. They would just like randomly say stuff. Except that was funny. You remember Thrakkerzog, the alien from the first season of Tick? I have a toy of him. I have a toy of him over here, actually. I can show.
He looks like Slimer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's green. That's the most he looks like Slimer. But this is my Thrakkerzog toy. See this tongue here that has a mouth on it?
Are you sure that doesn't look like Slimer? Come on.
It looks
that's pretty
Slimer,
cool though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got feet. But yeah, this tongue has its own mouth, and it talks also, and it's like, brains, and it
It just says weird random shit.
Oh no, the tongue fell off. Thrakkerzog.
So it's kind of like the xenomorphs that have the other head inside of their mouth.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a reference to that. But Thrakkerzog is, he has he's very proper. He talks very properly. He's all like, "Oh yes, I'm an important person," and his tongue is all like brains. So that's kind of the idea of it. But it's one of my favorite episodes of the first season. It's a Tick versus the common cold, where the Tick gets sick, and Thrakkerzog wants to clone him, and he ends up like making a clone out of his snot. So there's a snot tick, like an all green like snot tick that has to fight him. It's a fun episode.
What a great show.
Boogerman.
And there's the two Arthurs where one of them, the clone, can only say "I Arthur," and that's it. But he's confused by that, of course. Watch The Tick. It's on Hulu. It's a great show. Disney owns that shit now, so they should make a fucking Tick movie or something.
Bring back The Tick. I'm afraid that it's dead now after the Amazon one failed, which I liked the Amazon one. I thought that was a good show.
I watched it. It was all right. It was all right for what it was, I guess. I mean, nothing. I mean, it's nowhere near the cartoon. The cartoon was the best.
The cartoon is peak. Yeah,
like the cartoon was the
wasn't
best
there
one.
Wasn't there like more than one live action?
There was a
there was
live
two
action
of
one
them.
around 2001 from
With the guy-
it was on
with,
Fox.
There was the putty,
what's
the
his
putty
face?
guy from
The putty guy, yeah.
from Seinfeld was in there.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
produced by Barry
Patrick Warburton.
Sonnenfeld.
There we go.
yeah, Patrick Warburton.
So it had kind of the same feel as like the Addams Family movies and that kind of thing. The sort of cartoony look, because that's the same guy who did that.
Yeah,
I
watched,
thought that one was good too. I think The Tick is honestly never missed. The cartoon is the best, but come on, bring The Tick back. Do it right. Give it some justice, and make some games. Good Tick games.
It's funnier than Deadpool.
I'm like, I don't know if the comic still exists
I
or
agree.
not, but I mean, the comic was always really good. Like, I have a lot. I found a lot of my old Tick comics that were at my mom's house, and I mean, that's obviously it started as a Tick comic, And the writer of Tick, Ben Enlund, he became a TV writer later. I've seen his.
Yeah, he created Supernatural,
I saw his. Oh, did he?
which that's a hit show. Yep, he's
Okay.
the creator of that.
I knew he wrote. I knew he worked on what was it? The Joss Whedon show, the sci-fi one.
Buffy.
No, the space one with
Oh yeah.
Nathan Fillion.
Firefly.
Yeah. I saw his name on the credits of various episodes of Firefly, and I was like, "Is that the guy from The Tick?" Because I'd recognize his name.
Yeah, he's doing all right now.
But yeah, and I mean, maybe he's not doing much with the comic anymore. But I mean, Spawn's still going, so I don't know. I thought maybe there might be Tick comics out there somewhere. All right, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about more stuff and news and whatever else.
Hell yeah. Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go!
And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
back from the break. John, what do you got left for your stuff?
I pre-ordered Pinball Quest. It was announced today or late last night that Pinball Quest is getting a remaster.
So what happened? I think it was announced like a couple days ago. So I was just doing the notes for the show, and I always just go through the eShop and look at whatever's coming out for the week, you know. And I was just kind of scrolling through shit, and then just out of nowhere, there was fucking Pinball Quest coming out on July 31st, and I'm like, what? Holy shit! And then I just kind of looked through the internet to find, and I guess I did see it get announced, but I just didn't think anything of it because I didn't know what it was. And then later I saw it on the eShop, and it is the Pinball Quest that we know and love, that we talked about on an expansion pack, which you can find at patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast. And when I said that, I mentioned that they should re-release it because the people who developed it still exist or whatever, and here it is. It's coming to Switch. I hope
we did this.
There better be save states in there.
There are.
Yeah.
Yep, I checked. So maybe I'll actually get through past the second level. Who knows?
Yeah, I'll try it out. It's on sale for like $7. It's not on sale for that much. Like, it's normally $7.99.
It's 10% off.
But it's on sale for like $7.17 or something like that. But it's on sale for like the whole month. It's like on sale till I don't know, August something.
Yeah, I got excited. I got on my phone at work as soon as you posted it on the Slack, or as soon as I saw it on the Slack anyway, and I pre-ordered it at work.
It goes through the 15th of August. The sale does. Save that 80 cents through the 15th.
It's a favorite NES game of mine. I mean, I told the story before about I got it on for my birthday. I think my parents, rather than waiting later in the day or whatever, they just kind of gave it to me right away, and there I was playing it early on in the day on my birthday, and so it was a lot of fun. Nice, got a little surprise element tied with it there, and I just love pinball. I love pinball, and I love Pinball Quest, and I think it's an original concept which deserves to be revisited by people who haven't played it.
Yeah, I'll pick it up because I've only played it in through emulation and through your copies, so I'd like to give it a try on the Switch. I just remember it being really, really hard, and maybe with save states we can try to get somewhere with it. But it was really difficult
because you in the quest mode, in any pinball game you lose by going down the pit, right? But in the quest mode, if you go down the pit, you actually regress to the previous area. So you have to if there's a level that you've beat already, you have to beat that previous level again before you get back to where you were, and then go on to the next level. And so I've only ever gotten to the second level before because of that. So yeah, save states, beautiful thing. Other than that, this week I tried to kill Conor McGregor, and I didn't succeed. It was very frustrating, but in the best way. It's fun, frustrating, but as in you invest a lot of energy into these elusive targets, because again, you can only so it used to be you can only do it once, and then it was done forever. Which I guess in the proper elusive target mode, if you fail once, that's it, and that's kind of the mark you bear for the rest of your life that you failed that challenge. But there's also now there's the elusive target arcade, which means every once in a while these things will pop back up in the elusive target arcade. Now you can't say that you beat them properly, but you can at least try out the old ones that are coming back for a period of time and see if you can beat it in the arcade. So the Conor McGregor one being a special one, it's actually in its debut month, it's also available in the arcade, so you can go back and try it, at least through, I think it's July 29th. But if you lose in the arcade, you have to wait another 12 hours to play it, so you can't just keep playing it again and again. It still maintains a bit of that special aura, and it still maintains a bit of that tension, because you can't just go balls to the walls and try anything that you might in the other modes, because there is some like consequence and some price to losing. I really think that's a cool thing. It adds a lot of it makes me think more thoroughly about what I'm going to do. So this time around, once again, it's a party at this exclusive island, and it's this tech billionaire who's gotten into MMA, and he's challenging Conor McGregor, or they call him the Machine in this. They call him the Disruptor. They call him the Disruptor. They don't say his name, but he does have the McGregor tattoo on him, so it's like clearly him.
Okay.
And so he's challenging the Disruptor in a duel to the death. Whoever, that's it. It's a life or death fight. I was wrong when I said before that you're trying to kill the other guy. You're actually trying to kill Conor McGregor.
Okay, I was going to ask that.
Yeah, so the people who've hired you are on the side of the tech firm. They're like going around their boss's back because they don't want him to die. They don't want their stock to plummet, all that kind of stuff. And so they've hired you to kill Conor McGregor so that Conor doesn't kill this guy who's actually he's not a great fighter. He's kind of made to be sort of the butt of the joke, like he's in out of his league and there's no way he's going to beat this guy. So you're supposed to kill Conor McGregor before he kills the tech guy. And there's, as in any Hitman challenge, there's multiple ways to do it. You could probably walk in there and you can try and shoot him like straight up, just like through the cage or whatever, but you're going to get obliterated by the many guards and stuff that are all around. It's better to be a little bit sneaky about it. And my plan that I was sort of formulating, I was going to like try and get up on top of the roof and use a sniper rifle and all that. But then I realized that there's actually there's an ideal way to do it. You can actually get in the ring with him. And so I wanted to try and do it the cool way. You can actually like sub out the tech guy and step in his place and fight Conor McGregor that way. So I wanted to try and do it that way. But I arose too much suspicion before I could even get in the ring, and I got obliterated. So I'll try it again. Maybe right after this podcast. I'm not that tired right now. I might just jump in and give it another try.
So it's not a one-time thing anymore. That's what you're saying, because of this arcade mode or something. You can do it more than one time.
So, yeah, I mean, there's lots of different modes to this game. So the elusive target mode, like you can do it. You can try it once in that mode, and that's it. If you fail, you fail forever. And that's, I guess, sort of the to beat it. I think to beat it in the arcade mode is like lesser than. It's like not as cool, or you don't get as many points, rewards, etc. And so there is some like stigma still if you lose the main mode. But yes, you can try in the arcade mode. They'll bring back like every month or so. They'll select 5 targets from the whole history of the thing, which has been going on for 4 or 5 years now. So there's probably a few dozen of them. So if there was one that you missed or you didn't even get to try, it might come back. That's like, you just check the arcade mode every month or so to see what's there. But because this one's kind of a special one with a guest star, they just put it on the arcade mode at the same time, which they've not done before. So if you lose the main mode, you can go back and try it, but you have to wait 12 hours if you lose in the arcade mode. Yeah, overall, I just appreciate how much they're treating this Hitman game on the Switch just the same as any other. There's no question about whether this game would get the Conor McGregor update or whatnot. Like everything that's available on every other version is available on the Switch version. I think that's cool.
I wonder, is it easier because it's a cloud version or not? I don't know.
Is it easier?
I guess it wouldn't be, right? Because they still got to keep the cloud service running and all that. So
Right.
It's good that they haven't dropped it. Yeah, for the Switch.
Yeah, they treat it just the same. Yeah, that's very cool.
I mean, because like, well, what was it for the? I mean, for the stuff like for like Resident Evil Village was like the only cloud thing I played all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they did the DLC for that, they added it. You know, they added it, but they added it later. They added it after all the other stuff had already had it. Probably because it was
everything comes
later,
at the same time. Yeah, because they make these. They do a good job on their socials and stuff, like keeping people apprised of what's going on, and you know, everything's got dates on it and stuff. So it's just like, yeah, it's available for the same dates at the same times as all the other ones. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is that I've been watching every X-Men movie that I didn't watch in preparation for Deadpool, which comes out tomorrow as of this recording.
Are you going tomorrow, or are you going on Friday? When are you going?
I'm going tomorrow first thing. Okay. Yeah,
no spoilers, obviously, but we're going.
Absolutely not. Nope.
We're going to Alamo Draft House on Friday night. That's where we normally go. And I was actually kind of disappointed with the Deadpool themed drinks and food that they have, but maybe they'll have more when we get there. I mean, I don't think we ever talked about this on the show, but they did get bought by Sony Pictures, so
they did. Yeah.
I hope that doesn't mean that Alamo Draft House is going to be any less fun, because they had like 6 drinks for Mad Max Furiosa when we were there, like themed cocktails, and they were awesome. Like that Malort drink that I had at the bar was fantastic. I love that thing. So nice. I'm hoping that they have more themed drinks, because at the Mad Max one they had it's weird. So there's like the bar and there's the movie theater, and you can get there's drinks that are only at the bar that you can't get at the movie, like during the movie. So they kind of had that. They had a separate drink menu that was just for the bar. And that wasn't on the website. You can only find that if you went there. So I'm hoping they're doing something like that. Because as of right now, it's just like chimichangas and like a margarita and they're like 2 margaritas pretty much is what they are. And I'm like, they're not that exciting. It's like there's like the Wolverine margarita and the Deadpool margarita, and then there's chimichangas. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I was hoping there'd be
that creative,
maybe like a fun burger or something in there. I don't know, but the Furiosa drinks were really cool. Like they did some really cool stuff with that. So I don't know. I'm hoping, but yeah, I mean, we got our pint glass reserved already and all that. So and it's in 2 theaters at Alamo, which is normally they normally don't do that. And I think we're actually in the smaller one because the bigger one was sold out first. But that's fine. I mean, I don't really care.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big movie.
But it's gonna we'll but I'll see it. We'll see it Friday night, and we can talk about it next weekend or something. But
so far I've watched every X-Men movie except for the New Mutants. I got to watch that one.
I thought that one was okay. The problem with watching the old X-Men movies is that the director is a fucking pedophile, and it's kind of hard for me to get past that because Bryan Singer's a piece of shit. So it's like. And the only good X-Men movies are the Bryan Singer X-Men movies. So it is kind of like we were talking, we mentioned a little fucking Joss Whedon and all that, like more bullshit.
Well, the Matthew Vaughn one was good too.
Oh yeah, I mean, First Class, first Class was good.
Yeah,
but like X1 and 2, were Bryan Singer obviously. I think X2 is probably still one of my favorite ones. I mean, Days of Future Past is pretty good. I thought Apocalypse was awful. Like that was a Bryan Singer one, though. I thought that one was fucking terrible. And
I thought it made some deviations from having just watched the whole cartoon show. I thought it was like I thought it was good, but I didn't like. I don't know. I like Oscar. It was Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse, right? I like him normally, but I just think I think Apocalypse is like a huge guy, you know what I mean? I think even though he's a good actor, I think he was kind of wrong for the part.
His costume looked awful too, like compared to like the actual like Apocalypse the way he's supposed to look. But also like the movie, like not a whole lot happens. There's a whole lot of posing. There's a whole lot of standing and posing around, and it's like I don't know. It was just I felt like it just was kind of. It was just like a wet fart that movie was. And Justin and I, we saw it in the theater. I think we podcasted about it too. But it just like.
There weren't any.
Yeah, I didn't know what the point was. Like, really, it didn't really have a huge story going on or whatever. It's like from like
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Didn't even have the 4 Horsemen. Like there was the tease in the previous movie. At the end was a shot of the 4 Horsemen.
Oh yeah.
And then the 4 Horsemen were not in the Apocalypse movie. at all.
Yeah, it was kind of. I mean, I've seen it a few times, and I still don't even really know what the plot is of that movie of Apocalypse. It's kind of like, all right,
I thought in the cartoon, and I'm presuming the comics, it was one of the best X-Men storylines, and I thought it was really interesting, well done. I liked how they went to space and you had Bishop involved in it. Remember, there was that weird guy who was like stuck in that weird pocket of the universe with Bishop, and like I thought that whole thing was cool. None of that was in that movie. Yeah, overall, I think the X-Men movies that I hadn't seen, I'd only seen up to number 3. I kind of pieced out at number 3.
Well, 3 was 3 was awful. So I mean, the Brett Ratner X-Men where they like do everything and then take it all back automatically. It was the J.J. Abrams before J.J. Abrams. It's like Rise of Skywalker all over again, where it's like Chewbacca's dead. Oh no, he isn't. 3PO's dead. Nope, he's not dead either. It's like, fuck you. Like, just get out of here. But that's kind of that whole movie, too, where it's like, Xavier's dead. Oh, no, he's not. And it's like, they kind of
play out, you know?
I was waiting for a Cyclops to just show up at the end and be like, hey, what's up? I'm here, too. I'm alive. What's up? Yeah, that whole movie is pretty fucking awful.
Yeah, and they didn't do anything with Rogue. She was just like the jealous girlfriend that whole movie.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
I think the best thing was when Iceman became full Iceman. Like that's the only thing I thought was kind of cool in 3, where like he gets the full ice skin when he fights Pyro or whatever.
I like seeing Kelsey Grammer as Beast, but not that they did anything great with him. It was just like
it was good.
That's the casting we all wanted. It's cool.
It was good casting. Are you going to watch the Marvels just so you can see Kelsey Grammer as Beast again in the post credits?
Yeah, I don't need to watch it again. But
I saw it in the theater. I thought it was all right. I had a fun time with it. But I've only seen it once.
Yeah. What else? I want to say that I think the rest of the movies so far they like were not as bad as I thought they were going to be, except for Origins Wolverine was terrible.
Oh, that movie's god awful.
It was like.
Did you watch the Wolverine though, the one in Japan? Because I like that.
Yeah,
one.
I like that one a lot.
Well, you're probably watching it on Disney Plus, right?
I'm watching on Disney Plus.
Yeah, because there's actually an unedited version of Wolverine, which is pretty awesome, which has like blood in it.
That's
actually,
not on Disney Plus.
Of course not, because they didn't put it on there. I think I downloaded it illegally, but it's great. It's really good. Like there's an unedited one where Wolverine like stabs people and people actually bleed, and there is like a whole scene that isn't in the movie where he takes like the snowplower to a bunch of people, and there's a lot of blood in it, and it's pretty awesome. So
I was talking to Rich about X-Men Origins.
If you can get a hold of that one, it's much better than the. It's just nice to see him like stab people and them actually bleed like they would, since he has blades coming out of his hands and all that, because they don't bleed in the theatrical version.
Yeah, so. I think it was PG-13.
Yeah, that was before they got to before Deadpool was like, oh no, we can't actually do R movies, and they did like Logan and all that, all that stuff.
On the X-Men Origins Wolverine, I was talking to Rich about the movie, and I was like, I can't put a finger on it. I don't know why this movie looks so terrible. And he put it best. He said, "Yeah, it looks like a TV movie. It looks like a TV movie for however they shot it. It's just like uninspired camera angles. Everything looks kind of flat. Everything has this kind of weird, dreamy sort of look, like someone smeared Vaseline on the lens. And then the special effects were terrible. Like." They CG'd his claws for the whole movie. They didn't use any prosthetic claws.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Like, even in the scene where he's just like standing in front of a mirror examining himself, like he's got these weird CG claws that look like something out of a PlayStation 3 game.
Yeah.
It looks horrible.
Also, they completely like did not follow the source material at all. Like Wolverine and Sabretooth being brothers. Like, come on. Like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, that's not an actual thing. Like that.
Yeah, they were just like, lifelong enemies, or they were both in the Weapon X program, right? Well, they were brothers.
I mean, the actual Wolverine origin story does have like some stuff with Sabretooth and Wolverine, where maybe Sabretooth was Wolverine's dad or something like that, which is kind of more interesting, because he like raped his mom or something like that. But I mean, the movie was, I don't know what they did nothing from that comic. Like the Wolverine Origins comic, they took nothing from that. They just looked at the name and threw it away and did whatever the fuck they did there. Yeah, and they put the Blob in there too, which is a terrible character that is really not aged well. Like I never watched that movie because I saw enough of it and it looked awful. But Jess and I over the pandemic, we watched all the X-Men movies, and that was including. I was like, all right, well, finally I'll watch fucking Wolverine Origins, and yeah, it's got awful. But the what was it? The PlayStation 3 game that came out of it was awesome. Like that game was great. It was really good. It was actually one of the best Wolverine games ever made. So at least you got that. It sucked that it had to follow the story. But it was cool to where you would get hurt so much that you could also almost like see the bones of Wolverine, and then it would like grow back, and it did some really cool stuff where you would just really get like destroyed, to where you were like, flesh was coming off, and they made it like super violent and all that, like the way it should be. So that one was really cool.
I'll say every movie after that was better than I thought it would be. I liked the Wolverine of the movies that I hadn't seen. I think that was the best one. I'd already seen Logan.
Yeah,
which I thought was great. Fantastic. I didn't know that the Wolverine was directed by the same guy who did Logan, or I would have watched it earlier.
Oh, I didn't know that. I guess I didn't know the name.
James Mangold.
I guess I didn't know his name when I saw it, because the Wolverine was actually one of the first dates that Jess and I went on when we first started dating.
Really?
Was the Wolverine. That was like our second date ever. Was the Wolverine movie.
Oh, it was love at first slash.
So there you go. I don't think Jess liked it, but I thought it was fun. But yeah, I do think, like I said, the unedited version is much better. If you can get a hold of that one, I think it's on the DVD. Like if you have the DVD or whatever, it's on there. It's really good.
I just finished the Dark Phoenix movie, which I don't know. That kind of, I think that was of the first class ones. That was my least favorite. Yeah.
It's probably
I liked all those other ones pretty well. I thought they were pretty good.
I think I liked it better than Apocalypse. But I think I came into it. I watched it on a plane. I think I watched it like coming back from Japan or something like that. And I always heard it was bad, and I watched it and actually thought it was okay.
No, it wasn't bad.
I thought it was okay, but I liked it better than Apocalypse.
I know that the Dark Phoenix bombed, and I think I sort of conflated that with it being bad. It's not a bad movie. It's just kind of like. I liked the way that it was handled in the cartoon a lot better.
Well, they
never breathing room.
They never do the Phoenix story right. Like they never have in any of the live action stuff. Hopefully they'll eventually get to that, but they've never done it right. So whatever. But I liked the Dark Mutant one. That was another one that was kind of that sort of had a people said it was bad, but by the time I saw it, I thought it was good.
The New Mutants
or whatever it's called. Yeah, the New Mutants. The one with Anya Taylor-Joy in it.
I gotta watch that still.
Yeah, so it had some fun like horror stuff to it. Isn't that girl from I think the fucking girl from Game of Thrones is in there too, right?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, so I mean I thought it had some cool ideas in there. I thought, and it's kind of almost kind of horror at times, and I don't know, it was fine.
Thoughts on Deadpool next week?
And you can watch Deadpool 1 and 2. I'm sure you watched those also.
I've seen those. Yeah.
I really didn't like Deadpool 2 very much,
to
tell you the truth. Yeah. It was, I don't know. I like the first one so much better. There were a lot of parts that I was just like the part with his legs and where he's all like
baby legs.
I don't like that at all. And I think it was funny.
Just made you uncomfortable.
I don't think it was fun to watch. I thought it was fucking stupid. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess I kind of left a bad taste in my mouth that second one, but hopefully the third one's better. I don't know. It seems to be. I saw a couple of reviews. I didn't read anything about it, but. Wasn't rated as high as I thought it would, but who knows? But yeah, we could talk. We can always talk about that next week. If you want to hear Jess and I talk about Deadpool 2, listen to look up the How Is It Now podcast. They're still archived out there. We talked about that movie after we saw it. And what was it? Deadpool 1 was the whole reason that I got Marvel Unlimited for my phone, and I don't regret any of it. Because when we saw Deadpool 1, I loved it so much that I wanted to read original Deadpool comics. So I paid for the online subscription to read Marvel Comics, and I use it all the time. It's great. It's a great way to read comics and not have to deal with, multiple boxes of them because they're all...
Didn't you essentially buy a little tablet just for
I did, yeah.
reading comics?
I did, yeah. Well, I also use it when I use it on my exercise bike, too, now to watch One Piece. But yeah, nice. I use it to read comics like when I'm working, when I have really long interviews. It helps me stay sane. When you hear
I don't know why in my head I thought you had your bike set up where you were looking at both your TVs at the same time.
No, there's no room. It's in the guest room, and I used the Try One on there because the Try One I haven't used for years. Hooked it up to that. Anyway, why don't we do some news here?
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
Before we go,
right.
There's not a whole lot, but I want to talk about some things. Let's do the new releases first. The new Denpa
Dude, the new Denpa
The new Denpa is out now. I actually downloaded it and I haven't played it, but it's free.
Same.
You can download it for free. I got the
it's gonna be free.
I got the Japanese version because it wasn't out yet, and then it came out like a couple hours later on the American version. But it's all in English, so whatever. I heard the translation isn't great, which is a shame because I think the original Denpa was an 8.4 thing, and they
It seems like it might be a plus for this game, though. Honestly, that's the kind of thing where, like, when there's bad Japanese translation in this type of game, I think it kind of makes it more enjoyable. Maybe
I don't know, but I mean, coming from where it was done before by a team that prides themselves on
is this
on
the Muscle Man
and all
shooter?
that. No, it looks like a Mii game, kind of like you have little Miis. And,
And
onesies. I don't really understand exactly what it is. It was a DS game, and it was an AR game, like on DS. So there's no cameras on the Switch, so I don't know what we're gonna do there. But I don't know. Maybe I'll try it at some point. Probably not. But it's out. It's free.
Huh.
You can fuck with it. I don't know. There's too much other stuff to play. You want to talk
Exhausted
about?
Man looks pretty funny. Speaking of Exhausted Man, has he gone? Yeah, I don't know quite what it is, but the trailer was just kind of goofy. You're just this guy who's like sliding around the room like a snake. I don't really know what the game is beyond that.
Yeah, I saw it's coming out. It's coming out like tomorrow. Yeah, I don't really know what it is either, but yeah, the art style looks kind of funny.
I like weird physics games, so I'm into it.
Conscript is coming out. With Conscript it's basically a survival horror game based in World War I. It's done by the same guy who did why can I never remember the name of it? The game that came out a couple years ago, the Resident Evil like that was really good.
Vaccine?
No, that was
Signalis.
Signalis, yeah, the guy who did Signalis. It's his new game. Conscript, which I heard kind of mixed things on it, but it looks kind of cool. But it's basically like old school Resident Evil, but what if it took place within World War I? And it seems kind of cool from what I saw. I'm interested in it, but I don't know if I'll get it yet.
Do you have to assassinate Archduke Ferdinand?
I don't know. I haven't played it, but it looks. I know you do a lot of fighting and use old weapons and stuff. The star named EOS, that was in one of the indie directs that's out this week for $14.99. I don't really know much about that one, but it looks like a point and click game from what I've seen of it. Werewolf Purgatory. We did a show about Werewolf way back when. Was one of our guests. This is the sequel to that game, which was it's like it's pretty much like a visual novel, but it kind of felt like a choose your own adventure video game type thing, and it's on sale. It's coming out this week. I thought it was the same. I don't know. I was trying to remember. I don't know if it was the same people who did the Liberation game, but anyway, we did an interview with them, and that first one was pretty interesting. I remember playing the demo of it. Arranger we've talked about multiple times. It's been in directs. Alex talked about it when he was here. Arranger comes out tomorrow for $20, and it's already been rated really well. Like, it's gotten a lot of really good reviews.
This is a game where everything gets pushed away from you as you move.
Yeah, this is like the conveyor belt game, where it's like a conveyor belt puzzler RPG-ish thing. It looks cool. I watched a couple of reviews of it. A lot of people seem to really like it, so it's already been pretty high up there. So that comes out tomorrow. Tokyo Xanadu, that's a Falcom game, which looks kind of like Ys, but it's kind of like what if Ys met Persona. So it's like an action RPG, but it takes place in high school, and
so it's not like Xanadu
sort of
or whatever.
No. No, it's Tokyo Xanadu. But it's I don't know. It could have some relation to it, because wasn't that a Falcom game too?
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. It could have some relation to that, actually. I don't know. But I watched a review of it. I thought it looked pretty cool. It's $50. I'm not ready to drop that for it, but I do think it definitely looks like Ys in Tokyo, so I'm kind of interested in it. But the one I'm definitely interested in, of course, which I forgot I thought this was coming out next week, but it's coming out this week, and that is One Piece Odyssey. Comes out on Friday for $50. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I'll get that or not, but I am really interested in it. We'll have to see what people say about it. But it looks pretty good. I watched some comparison videos. It looks pretty close to the other systems. So, yeah. It'd be nice to have a good One Piece game. I have that One Piece Muso game, and it's not good. I have that one on Switch. It's really not good at all. They kind of took all the charm out of the show. Like, it goes through events from the show, but it doesn't have that. I don't know. They just felt like these these really weird, like these really weird polygonal versions of the characters, but they don't have any of the style or the humor of the show. It just felt so like, I don't know, it felt so flat. So
Like they just reskinned something else.
it was weird. Yeah, it was supposed to go through stories of the show, but it didn't have any of the fun. And they took all the intros out too. Like you need those anime intros in there. Like it has some really good music in there. I don't know. I didn't feel like they really captured the show like they should. So hopefully this one does, because the show is a lot of fun. It's a real funny show. Let's see, what else do you want to talk about on here? I know there's a big one on here, but if you want to talk about anything before that.
Let's see. Oh, Just Crow thing seemed interesting. This is a game that got announced. Another sort of goose-like, I guess, but with crows. I thought that was kind of cute, and I like crows. I think they're interesting, fascinating creatures. Yeah, I'd like a crow to become my friend. That's one of my goals in my life.
Don't piss them off, right?
Yeah, I want a crow to bring me some treasure. That'd be
cool.
If I could do that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, if a crow brings you treasure, then you're basically a Disney princess.
The big one that I want to talk about, though, is Co-Robo. Yes, they're making a spiritual sequel to Chibi Robo.
Yeah, Co-Robo.
The original dev team, too. The guys from Skip have reformed, and they're making this spiritual successor to Chibi Robo.
It kind of seems like the games you want are just being made right now.
I know. I'm putting out some positive energy into the universe here, and you're welcome, everybody.
Okay, so I think you can actually back it now. Like when they originally first put it up, you couldn't do it. Like the Kickstarter wasn't ready to go, and I was like, "Why are you doing it so early if you can't actually do it?" But now you can do it if you go to the Co-Robo to Kickstarter, and it looks like they already have $82,177. And their goal is $131,000, so they're already pretty close.
Oh, they're going to do it. Yep.
And they got 29 days left, so I mean, they seem to be doing all right. So
I will be backing this.
I wanted to look. I wanted to look at like what the different levels were and all that, and what the prices were. I don't need to go through them, but it wasn't available, so I couldn't look at it at the time when all the announcements came. But yeah, it definitely does kind of look like it has the feel of Chibi Robo, even though I've seen them saying more recently to not think that it's Chibi Robo. It's a completely different thing. So. But still, it looks cool.
I wonder what are the odds that Nintendo would have a look at this and go like, "Hey, do you guys want to just like make it a Chibi Robo game?"
Well, I mean, Nintendo isn't producing it though. Like
right.
If they were producing it,
that.
then they would probably do that. Like kind of like what became of Dinosaur Planet and all that. How it became a Star Fox game ish. But I mean, this is they're kickstarting and they're doing it on their own without Nintendo. So it's like that's why. Maybe if this is successful, they may ask them to make a Chibi Robo in the future, maybe. But as of right now, Nintendo's not involved with this.
We got to clarify too that this is like Chibi Robo proper, which has never been done since the original. There's been 2 Chibi Robo games since then, Park Patrol and then Ziplash, and both of those deviated from the original.
Yeah, very much.
They were not in the same style, not the same type of game. This is like the original, a little adventure game inside a house, just as you would expect from the original. I always figured the original was like, what if Legend of Zelda was contained to just one suburban household, and that's kind of like the pitch for it, as far as the gameplay style. Everything else, it's like wacky and cute and very off the wall kind of humor. I don't know. It's just like it holds a dear place in my heart. The original Chibi Robo game, and I'm so glad that they're turning back to that original style. I know they said it's gonna be different and all that. I think they're saying that to set expectations because they're gonna they don't want to hold themselves to this game that they made 20 years ago, right? I think it's kind of using the Chibi Robo original game as its root, and we'll see where it goes from there. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it does. I mean, from what I did watch the video of it, and it does remind me a lot of the original Chibi Robo. So, hooray! And it's called KO Robo, so I mean, Still got
Go
Robo.
Robo.
Still got Robo in there. So there it is.
Yeah, I will be supporting this game.
Yeah, it's like looks like it's about 45 to do just enough to get the game, which is normally what I do. So yeah. I mean, there's like, you can do like soundtracks and art books and keychains and all this different additional stuff that you add to it, I guess.
I'll probably go further than just the original, than just the game.
You can do the
It's
physical.
soundtrack and all
You can do the physical for 58 if you wanted to
I'll
add
do
that since you love those physicals.
Yeah, it's not a Nintendo game, but it's a Nintendo game in spirit, so I think I would have to do the physical.
I know, I guess. What is it? It says like for the regular small one, or the regular base pledge is like you get the digital edition for free, beta access on PC only, and the Tiny Tinkerer Discord role. I don't know what that means, but then you can add other stuff to it.
Does it say anywhere about what platforms they're going for?
Oh yeah, it should say that, right? I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's been on all the Nintendo sites, so I thought maybe that meant it was going to be a Switch game, but. I mean, if it's getting kickstarted, Switch 2 is definitely going to be out by the time this comes out. If it's getting, I mean, that pro wrestling thing that I kickstarted, that's there's still no release date on that, and we haven't seen anything about the documentary either, the Ghost Lord one. So I mean, it's going to be a while before we see anything from this game. So I thought that I had seen something about what systems it would come to, but. Maybe I just imagined that. I don't know.
Yeah, I look forward to anticipating this game for a long time and talking about it for a while to come.
I would really hope that. Yeah, I would really hope it would show up on a Nintendo system in some way. But like I said, it's gonna take some time.
Another game that's right up my alley, Gimmick 2. Got some new footage from that. We got the actual gameplay footage, and I'm getting more and more excited for it. It just looks like a great sequel to Gimmick. I like the art style. I think that seems like they're adhering to the gameplay, but perhaps maybe making it a little bit more accessible, which is cool. The original is notoriously hard, and I think making it taking a little bit of the edge off could be a good thing in case of Gimmick. But I do hope that they maintain some challenge or have some high difficulty settings that are optional for those who do want the real challenge.
So
cool thing is, go ahead.
I was just gonna say on the KO Robo thing, it says that if they reach a certain level, then they will release it for every console for whatever generation it happens to be on at the time that it's done. Is what it says
Switch
here.
2.
So they're not really confirming which consoles, but it says like, basically, if it makes it to the stretch goal, then it will make it past the Steam release. Then they will land. They said they'll launch it on the latest hardware per platform at time of release.
Wow.
And they'll let you know when it gets closer. So they're planning on putting it on. I mean, that paragraph in itself kind of makes it sound like it's going to be on. It's like, well, Switch 2. Whatever platform
console's out at the time.
Whatever version of those consoles will be what they'll put it on. So yeah. On the Gimmick 2 thing, I see here David Wise, the ultimate G of video game music, is doing the soundtrack to Gimmick 2. Color me interested.
Yeah,
I love David Wise's music, so let's do it.
I think that speaks to the quality of the original game's music and the sort of notoriety that it has in the video game music sphere. I imagine he was a fan of the original soundtrack, and that must be the reason why he took up the mantle here.
As kind of an aside, I saw something randomly not that long ago. It was like an interview with David Wise, and I just kind of skimmed through it. But one of the things he mentioned was that he had actually been contacted at some point by Trent Reznor,
really,
who loved aquatic ambient so much that he decided to talk to him.
That's a good song.
That's cool.
It is. But that's kind of cool that,
So Trent Reznor was just playing Donkey Kong Country one day, and he was like, I got to look up who did this, and decided to give him a call.
He respected it as a piece of electronic music, I think they're supposed to think. But it could also be that, just be like, ooh.
And he said it just like that too. Like,
Mhm.
ooh.
We all know Trent Reznor. That's how he talks.
It's a pretty big game. I'm sure you played it. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else you want to say? The Halo series got canceled. Does anybody care? I have not seen a
No.
single.
I watched one episode. I think I watched 2 episodes. I don't know. I thought it was meh. It was okay. You know,
yeah.
as a non-fan of the series, I was just like, all right, this is another space show. It didn't seem to stand out in any kind of particular way. And I guess the fans didn't glom onto it. Yeah, maybe it was just too expensive. It looked very expensive.
I mean, Paramount is also like going through like I think they just got bought out by some. There's a whole bunch of shit going on there because
they did. Yeah.
Towards the end of our episode last week, I mentioned that Paramount has pretty much given up on Star Trek completely, which was pretty much their was like the flagship of CBS All Access. So they don't know what the fuck they're doing over there. is what it seems like. So I mean, they're dropping other shows too. They've actually dropped shows.
Yeah, they canceled Lower Decks, right?
Well, Lower Decks will have its final season this year, and then the only thing that's left, I think, is however many they're going to do of Strange New Worlds. Well, there's supposed to be a Starfleet Academy, which takes place within the Discovery world, I guess. There might be some people from there, but they've kind of, I mean, they abandoned Prodigy before it even got to the second season, and that second season is amazing. Like we only have like 1 episode left, but it's an incredible show. It got abandoned by Paramount, and now it's on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, watch it. It's good. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. They seem like they don't really know what they're doing. So as a lot of streaming services don't. So I mean, it's like when Netflix put a bunch of they put all this effort into one season and they like cancel it before it's even before it's even like had enough time to get around to everybody. That's. Seems like a similar thing. But I mean, I don't give a shit about Halo, and I had no interest in watching that show ever. So I mean, it doesn't matter to me whether it exists or not.
It's more fun if you watch it with 3 friends on couch.
Yeah.
It's a local co-op's better for that.
Yeah.
I remember them trying to make a Halo movie back in like when we were in college. I remember there was news that like Steven Spielberg was going to get involved. And
oh my god, so that would have been so terrible. Can you imagine a Spielberg Halo movie? God, it would have been awful.
And then Peter Jackson got involved at some point, or I think maybe Weta did the special effects on the show. I don't know, but
I'd rather
just made me think.
Movie.
It was supposed to be what's his face, the guy who had like one good movie, Neil Blomkamp. He was supposed to do Halo for a while. You remember that?
He was, yeah.
Because he had
his good movie,
District 9. That was the only.
Being like
the only good movie I thought that he did. Everything else was, and I love District 9. And Jess and I went to go see Chappie in the theater.
I need to watch it.
And oh my god, that movie was so terrible. But I mean, yeah, it was just. Oh, and Elysium, God, that movie was bad too. It was just like disappointment after disappointment after District 9. But District 9 was awesome. So
this news that the show got canceled, though, it just makes me think back to like all the effort that goes into getting something made, and especially something of this scale. That was like. At this point in 2005 that I heard that news first, maybe 2004, 20 years. So like 20 years of effort, and then this thing gets its chance and it's gone after 2 seasons. So it just makes me think like, wow.
At least they gave it a second season, right? I mean, that's more,
yeah.
I mean, like I said, those Netflix shows only get like 1 season. So, I mean, at least they gave them that.
Unless you're Stranger Things.
Well, yeah. I mean, but that's like the, what? That was kind of
the exception to the rule.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. That line. It was a diamond in the rough of whatever, they're kind of past their time of we'll find everything.
Here's something cool. I know Jeremy was interested in this. Nintendo has expanded its controller button collection in Japan with Super Nintendo, N64, and GameCube keychains. These are little keychains that are like portions of Nintendo controllers. They're like accurate too. Not only are they accurate, like I heard they can be swapped in and like used to replace probably if you're a modder or whatever. You can actually, these are the buttons, like these are the actual buttons and stuff.
So so they work and they have circuitry in them too.
They just have clicky.
They have clickiness, but
you can use them. But you could put them on the top of the circuitry, right? And they would work.
They're for all intents and purposes, they're like the actual parts.
The original hardware. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Minus the kind of cute circuit wafer that's inside.
They come in like I guess like each one has 3 different parts. Like you could get the D-pad from the NES, or you get the start select button from the NES, or the B and A buttons. They're like little fidget toys, but like if you need a fidget toy and you're a classic gamer, this might be right up your alley.
I have multiple things I fidget around with during the like whenever we record, so something like that could be really cool.
Yeah, I'm very
I have magnets like all over the place.
I'm very fidgety too. I have this Ultimate Warrior head that I can squeeze while we're talking. But yeah, but yeah, no, I was kind of interested in it. I mean, I don't need a keychain, but I mean, I think it's cool for what it is. I think it's a neat thing, I guess. So there you go. But I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything.
There's not much else. One final player is still holding the candle on.
Still pushing
Mario Kart
it.
7 online.
Oh, for the 3DS even. Okay.
Yeah.
So no
days after the server shut down, there's one guy.
So there's no Wii U. There's no Wii U people on there still. There's nobody holding the candle for Xenoblade Chronicles X or anything like that. I mentioned
Godspeed.
I mentioned that on our wrestling thing because I said that we were like that one guy who's left on the internet for 3DS or Wii U because I said we were the only people still playing AEW Fight Forever. But I think they recently announced that. Speaking of that, I think they recently announced that they're going to give maybe I read it wrong, but it sounded like they're going to give the DLC away for free to everybody. And I think the game is like $40 now, and you get everything with it. Like it's obvious that they've kind of like officially abandoned it, but
they should do a Twilight Zone. You know that one Twilight Zone episode about the guy that survives the end of the world. And he just wants to read books, but it's like the guy playing the 3DS, and then like either he loses connection to the server or the 3D slider stops working.
Yeah,
it's not fair. It's not fair.
All I wanted was time.
Isn't that Burgess Meredith? Isn't it the Penguin that plays him? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I always loved. I mentioned it before on the show, but I always loved the Futurama version of it because I was like, dude, your glasses broke, but like you can read, you can still like hold it up to your face and read books. Like it's fine, dude. Like you'll be able to do it. And they did that in Futurama where like he's like, oh, I can still read, and then his eyeballs fall out, and he's like, oh no, I can read the Braille ones, and his hands fall off. Like, yeah, it's like they just keep going with it, because yeah, dude, your glasses break, and you're the only person alive, and you're surrounded by books. You just like. If you're nearsighted, hold them by your face or far away. You can
the world's about to end. Get
read
an Audible account. That's all I can say.
I'm just saying, you could still do it. You could still make it work.
Write your own books. That's what I do.
Yeah,
in my head.
So you can make it work. So yeah, I think that's good. That's good for episode 431. Thanks everybody for listening. And if you'd like to help us out, if you like hearing us for free. Why don't you listen to us for money and go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast. I just finished editing the episode, the Games of Future Past episode, which I thought was a really good episode that we did, where we talked about video games that were based in the future that's already happened. So we went and talked about various games that we liked that take place in a time that we've already passed. So that was a fun one to do. So listen to that. And for only $1 at that website, NintenDomain Podcast. No, at patreon.com/NintenDomain Podcast. You can find it there for $1. Check it out.
If you went to NintenDomainPodcast.com, you could find.
There's a link to it from there too. Yeah, if that website is hopefully still there. But I don't check it on the regular. But there is a NintenDomainPodcast.com. You can find it there. Also on the description of this episode, you can find a link there as well. But and also you can find us at youtube.com/NintenDomain Podcast. You can find me at Twitter at Nintendo_domain and Blue Sky. Look up NintenDomain. You can find us all over the place. We're on all those various the social meets, as I call them.
We're ubiquitous.
Yeah, just Google it. You'll find our 400 some episodes and all that. Anyway, yeah, we've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
Jerry Mikowski.
John Knitter.
And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
All right, we're back from the break. John, what do you got left for your stuff? Was that a cat in front
I
of the
pre-ordered.
camera? Sorry.
Yeah, he's jumping all over my keyboard.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I thought I saw a giant cat face on the screen there.